Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is Miguel with the series, How to Combine the DC Deck Building Sets. This will be the 15th deck profile. In this episode, we will be covering Confrontations. Since Confrontations continues the Rivals format with the keywords Confrontation and Block, we'll only use cards that work in the standard format. If you do have an interest in the Rivals format, let me know by engaging with this video and I can start working on that series. For the theme of the main deck, we're going to focus on the Justice League and Justice League Dark with an emphasis on Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Zatanna. For availability, we're pulling from the original set, Heroes Unite, Forever Evil, Teen Titans, Confrontations, Rivals 1, Crisis 1, 2, and 3 with Crossover Pack 1. For consistency, we'll have the main deck at 130 with 30 heroes, villains, equipment, and superpowers with 10 locations. Now the deck profile. For heroes, we have a single copy of Tula and Yawara with doubles of Kid Flash. Tula has the effect +1 power and an additional +2 power if you have one or more superpowers in your discard pile. Tula supports superpower builds by increasing in power once you start to have a lot of superpowers to go through. Yawara has the effect +1 power and an additional +2 power if you have one or more equipment in your discard pile. Yawara supports equipment builds by increasing in power once you have a lot of equipment to go through. Kid Flash is a low-cost draw card that is available in the early game when you don't have enough power to buy a card from the lineup. At cost 3, we have a single copy of Deadman, Ragman, The Others, Steve Trevor, with doubles of Robin, Mera, and Aqualad. Deadman has the effect +2 power. Name a non-starter card type and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the name type, additional +2 power. This is the first of the Zatanna set that focuses on what's on top of your deck. You should have a way to keep track of what you're buying and what's on top of your deck to make this card viable. Ragman has the effect +2 power. Name a non-starter card type and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the name type, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. An easy way to focus on this archetype is by buying cards of only 1 or 2 card types to increase the chances of calling it right. There will be cards to also help facilitate what is being put on top of your deck. The Others has the effect +1 power defense. You may discard this card and any number of other cards to avoid an attack. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of cards discarded this way. This is an upgraded version of Helmet of Fate because it can include itself in the number of discarded cards. It works as a pseudo mulligan when defending to get rid of unwanted cards for the next turn. Steve Trevor has the effect +1 power defense. You may reveal this card from your hand to avoid an attack. If you do, discard a card. This is a low cost reveal to defend card that can stop multiple attacks at the cost of leaving you empty-handed. Steve Trevor works best alongside cards that can help replenish your hand. Robin supports equipment builds by putting an equipment from your discard pile into your hand to extend your plays. Mera can give you a boost of +4 power when your discard pile is empty. Otherwise, it is just a kick. Aqualad is an ongoing card with a delayed effect to put a card with cost 5 or less from your discard pile on top of your deck. It can help cards like Mera and the Zatanna archetype to fulfill their effects. At cost 4, we have a single copy of the Blue Devil, Madame Xanadu with doubles of Swamp Thing and Zatanna Zatara with replacements like Animal Man. Blue Devil has the effect +2 power, defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, put a card from your discard pile on top of your deck, or draw a card. This is great for the Zatanna archetype because it can help you set up the top of your deck to call out the correct card type. Madame Xanadu has the effect +2 power. Name a non-starter card type and then reveal the top card of your deck. If it's the name type, draw a card. This is a side grade to Animal Man from Crisis 1 because Madame Xanadu focuses on cards with cost 1 or greater, while Animal Man can call a starter as a card type. She works best in her own archetype with multiple ways to stack the top card of your deck. Swamp Thing can give you a boost of +5 power if you have a location in play, otherwise it is just a kick. Zatanna can put up to 2 cards at the bottom of your deck in order to tell what is inside your deck to call out the correct card type. You can always replace her with Crisis 1 Animal Man to act as a pseudo draw for the Zatanna archetype. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Donna Troy, King of Atlantis, The Fastest Man Alive, Emerald Knight, Dark Knight, and John Constantine. Donna Troy has the effect +1 power and draw a card. Defense, you may reveal this card to avoid an attack. If you do, discard a card. This is another reveal to defend card at a low cost that can stop multiple attacks at the cost of leaving you empty-handed. Donna Troy works best alongside cards that can help replenish your hand. Donna Troy would have benefited by being draw 2 cards instead of +1 power and draw a card to help replenish your hand by herself. And Steve Trevor should have been +1 power and draw a card. King of Atlantis can extend your place by destroying undesirable cards and also help Mara to keep the discard pile empty. The Fastest Man Alive is the standard draw 2 cards with no consequences. Emerald Knight can play a non-villain from the lineup as a way to extend your place at the cost of not being able to buy the card used for this effect. Dark Knight can gain all the equipment from the lineup, and it is balanced by not having Catwoman for his secondary effect. John Constantine is a draw card that gives you the information of the top 2 cards of your deck with the option of destroying one and putting it back. He supports the Zatanna archetype to call out the correct card type. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Dr. Fate and Jay Garrett. Dr. Fate has the effect +3 power. You may put any number of cards you buy or gain this turn on top of your deck. This is our first main deck Dr. Fate since our first mention of him through the Helmet of Fate in Heroes Unite 2014. It is a great effect to set up future plays and can even set up full hands in the mid to late game. Dr. Fate can also support the Zatanna archetype by letting you control what goes on top of your deck. Jay Garrett is a reveal to defend card with the option to discard itself and gain a card from the lineup as a way to intimidate foes from using multiple attacks in one turn. At cost 7, we have a single cost of Princess Diana of the Mascara. Princess Diana of the Mascara can gain all villains from the lineup without using the power you've generated for the turn. Dark Knight and Princess Diana can be used with Dr. Fate to put the cards you have gained with their effects on top of your deck. At 8 costs, we have a single copy of Mana Steel. Mana Steel supports the superpower builds by putting all the superpowers in your discard pile into your hand as a way to overtake the game. For villains, at cost 2, we have a single copy of the Creeper, the Trench, and doubles of Cheetah and Ocean Master. The Creeper has the effect +1 power and an additional +1 power for each weakness in your discard pile and that you play or have played this turn. The Creeper is a great addition to the weakness archetype because it starts making your weaknesses useful on turns that you cannot destroy them. The Trench has the effect +1 power. If you play or have played 2 non-starter cards with the same cost, draw a card. This is a low-cost draw card that is effective in the mid to late game when you have gotten rid of most of all your starters. Cheetah is here to gain a card with cost 4 or less without using the power you generated for the turn. Ocean Master can extend your plays by destroying undesirable cards when you control 1 or more villains and can help Mara by keeping the discard pile empty. At cost 3, we have a single copy of Siren, Nereus, Black Manta, Blackbriar Thorn, Dr. Destiny, and Clayface. Siren has the effect, gain a card with cost 5 or less from the lineup and put it into any player's discard pile. This is an upgraded version of Cheetah because it gives you a lot more options, like gaining almost any card in the lineup and possibly putting it into a player who would want to benefit or hinder. Nereus has the effect +2 power attack. Each foe discards a card with cost 4 or less. This is a great way to stop foes from using their cards and works best when you have multiple attacks. Black Manta has the effect +2 power. If you play or have played an equipment this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. It supports equipment builds by helping you get rid of undesirable cards. Blackbriar Thorn has the effect +2 power. If you play or have played a superpower this turn, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. It supports superpower builds by helping you get rid of undesirable cards. Black Manta and Blackbriar Thorn are well-designed cards that encourage deck building with card types, and there should be more cards like this. Dr. Destiny has the effect +2 power. Defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, draw 2 cards and then put a card from your hand on top of your deck. This is a great defense that can help set up future plays by putting a card you want to save for the next turn. It can also help out the Satana archetype by letting you call out the correct card type. Clayface is here to allow players to use foes' cards with cost 4 or less from their discard pile, especially the single cards from this set. At cost 4, we have doubles of Parasite, Giganta, Phobia, and Killer Frost. Parasite is an attack card that works as a way to depower foes by having them discard a card with cost 3 or greater, and letting them put a punch card from their discard pile into their hand. Giganta gains +4 power if there are no cards with cost 3 or greater in your discard pile, which makes it a good card once you start destroying low-cost cards. Phobia can attack and make foes discard a card into any player's discard pile that did not avoid the attack or the attacker. This means that players can pile up on a single player. Killer Frost is here as an attack against locations and can draw a card if no foes discard 1. At cost 5, we have doubles of Scarecrow and Mammoth. Scarecrow is here to slow down players with his attack to give each foe a weakness. Mammoth is a great defense card because when you discard to defend, he can draw 2 cards first and then destroy a starter from your hand or discard pile. This means that you can always wait to see if you draw into a starter if you don't have one in your discard pile. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Despero, Inertia, and Jinx. Despero is a staple card that can draw 2 and attack to make a player discard a card with cost 1 or greater. Inertia is a good draw engine because it is an ongoing card that can let you draw a card at the cost of discarding 1 from your hand. Jinx is here as +1 power and draw a card that can attack foes who have ongoing cards in play to discard. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Bizarro, Lobo, and Avatar of the Rot. Bizarro works best at the end of the game, where he can turn your weaknesses into 2 VPs each, making them 1 VP instead. He works alongside cards like the Creeper and the Rot to make use of the weaknesses in your deck. Lobo is a great destroy card because it can get rid of up to 2 cards from your hand and or discard pile. Avatar of the Rot is an upgraded version of Scarecrow because he can dish out 2 weaknesses instead of 1 with his attack. For equipment, at cost 2, we have doubles of Lasso of Truth and Eskrima Sticks. Lasso of Truth is a standard defense card that can draw a card when defending. Eskrima Sticks can put 1 equipment with cost 3 or less from your discard pile into your hand. This is a great way to reuse cards like Aquaman's Trident, Power Ring, or even itself to pick up an extra card. At cost 3, we have doubles of Helmet of Fate, Aquaman's Trident, and Power Ring. Helmet of Fate can mulligan undesirable cards when defending, making you draw a card for each one discarded minus itself. Aquaman's Trident can put a card you bought or gained on top of your deck, helping cards like Mera and the Zatanna archetype. Power Ring can give you a boost of +3 power if you reveal a card with cost 1 or greater from the top of your deck. It can also help out the Zatanna archetype by giving you information on what's on top of your deck. At cost 4, we have doubles of Crown of Atlantis, Dead King Scepter, Flight Wings, Signature Trenchcoat, and Batarang. Crown of Atlantis has the effect +1 power for each card with cost 1, 2, 3, and 4 you play or have played. It can give you a boost in power if you built a deck with low cost cards. Dead King Scepter has the effect +2 power and choose a foe. Attack. That foe discards a location card. This is a side grade to Killer Frost since it generates an extra +1 power instead of drawing a card and can only attack 1 foe. Flight Wings can put multiple cards on top of your deck that were bought or gained in the turn of playing it, helping out the Zatanna archetype. Signature Trenchcoat can gain the cards with cost 5 or less that you have been destroying throughout the game with the effects like Magic and Constantine. Batarang is a standard defense card that is +1 power and draw a card, and can draw a card when defending. At cost 5, we have a single copy of Magician's Corset, Sniper Rifle, with doubles of Kryptonite and the Bat Signal. Magician's Corset increases in power according to how many players you choose at the cost of letting the chosen draw a card. You can always choose just yourself for +1 power and draw a card. Sniper Rifle works as an attack card that can show other players each other's hands and benefits the player using it because he can choose to discard a specific card. Kryptonite has the effect +2 power attack. Each foe who does not discard a weakness gains a weakness. This is a well-designed attack in the sense that it doesn't get out of hand and does not strike players who have too many weaknesses already. The bad signal supports hero builds by putting a hero from your discard pile into your hand. At cost 6, we have doubles of Globe of Transportation. Globe of Transportation has the effect, reveal the top 3 cards of the main deck. Gain a card with the lowest cost and put it into your hand. Destroy the rest. This is a way to scout the main deck for low cost cards, and if you're lucky, you can pick one of the two if they are the same cost. Be careful though, because you will make the main deck run out faster. At 7 cost, we have a single copy of Book of Magic. Book of Magic has the effect, +3 power. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may discard any number of them. Put the rest back in any order. This is a good way to scout the top of your deck in order to know what is on top of your deck and discard cards you don't want to draw into. The book is the main way to help out the Zatanna archetype. But it may come at too high of a cost, since Dr. Midnight from crossover 1 is +2 power, and look at the top 2 cards. Book of Magic would work a lot better at cost 6 if you want to keep the +3 power, or cost 5 if you want +2 power instead. At cost 8, we have a single copy of Power Armor. Power Armor is a good reveal to defend card because it can destroy multiple cards depending on the number of attacks that have been thrown against you. For superpowers, at cost 2, we have 4 copies of Flight. Flight is here to discard itself as a defense and put any card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Remember that it can also put itself on top. At cost 3, we have doubles of Telepathy, X-Ray Vision, and Power of the Green. Telepathy has the effect, +2 power. You may discard a card from your hand. If you do, draw a card. This is a great draw engine for the turn because you can cycle through unwanted cards to draw into new cards. X-Ray is here to play the top card of another foe's deck as a way to use cards that you were not able to buy for yourself. Power of the Green is here to support locations by putting them into play and gaining power for controlling them. At cost 4, we have doubles of Water Control, Mystic Control, Bulletproof, Energy Absorption, and Power of the Red. Water Control has the effect, +2 power, defense. You may discard this card to avoid an attack. If you do, put up to 2 cards with combined cost of 3 or less from your discard pile into your hand. This works best in low cost decks that can help you pick up a card with cost 1, 2, or 3 and a punch. Mystic Control has the effect, +2 power. Look at the top card of each foe's deck. You may discard any number of them. This is a side grade to Chlorokinesis because it asks you to look instead of reveal in order to stop the Zatanna archetype from knowing what's on top of their decks. Bulletproof is here as a standard defense card that can draw a card and destroy a card in your discard pile when defending. Energy Absorption is a standard card that lets you draw a card and then gives you the option to destroy a card in your hand. Power of the Red is here to discard cards in your hand that you don't want to use in favor of drawing into new ones. At cost 5, we have doubles of Tegroff and Magic. Tegroff has the effect, +2 power. Attack. Each foe puts a card from their hand on top of their deck. This attack can be combined with Mystic Control as a way to ensure a foe puts a card they don't want to get rid of and then strikes it from the top of their deck with Mystic Control. Magic is here to replay cards you want to play again at the cost of destroying them at the end of the turn. It can be combined with a signature trench coat to gain the card back from the destroyed pile. At cost 6, we have a single copy of Heat Vision, Mystic Bolts, Possession, and World's Greatest Detective. Heat Vision is a standard card that is +3 power and can destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Mystic Bolts puts 2 cards, each of cost 5 or less with different cost, from your discard pile into your hand. This is a great effect because it allows you to grab any card type or the same card type, just as long as both are different costs and cost 5 or less. Possession is here as a way for each foes to reveal their hands and turn their attacks against them. World's Greatest Detective is here as a reveal to defend card that lets us gain +1 power and draw a card when played. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Impervious and Speed Force. Impervious has the effect +2 power, defense. You may reveal this card from your hand to avoid an attack. If you do, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. This is an awesome reveal to defend card because it is easier to buy and can work in superpower builds. Speed Force is our lucrative card because it is +2 power and draw 2 cards with no drawbacks. For locations, we have singles of Amnesty Bay, The Deep, Fortress of Solitude, The Batcave, Arkham Asylum, The Watchtower, Monument Point, The Rot, House of Mystery, and Atlantis. Amnesty Bay has the effect ongoing. Once during each of your turns, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put the lowest cost card revealed this way into your hand and discard the rest. This location gives you access to more cards in your deck by digging into it. You can manipulate what cards you want to add into your hand by building a deck of certain card cost. The Deep has the effect ongoing. Discard a card with cost X. Put any number of non-starter cards from your discard pile with the combined cost of X into your hand. Use only once per turn. This is a great way to get back some of your cards from your discard pile with lower costs. If you discard a card with a high enough cost, for example, discard an 8 cost for 2 cost of 4s, or 1 cost of 6 and 2, or even just 1 7 cost. The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, The Batcave, Fortress of Solitude can draw a card when you play your first non-starter respective card type. Monument Point and The Rot can draw a card the first time you play a punch, vulnerability, or weakness respectively. House of Mystery can draw a card the first time you play a card with cost 5 or greater. Atlantis can put any card you buy or gain on top of any player's deck. This card can help out Mera and the Zatanna archetype. These locations can work better once you start getting a hang of what deck you are building for yourself. There are no supervillains introduced in Confrontations. Instead, you can always mix the ones you do have, but I did want to show a promo of Felix Faust that you can get from their website. Felix Faust will add more of a mystical threat to your supervillain stack. For superheroes, a set that you can use is Animal Man, Swamp Thing, Zatanna Zatara, Constantine, Green Lantern, The Flash, Aquaman, Batman, Dr. Fate, Jay Garrett, Wonder Woman, and Superman to fit the theme of the deck. In closing, that's just one way to combine DC deck building sets. Remember, there's no single correct way to build your main deck. These videos are here to inspire ideas and start conversations. What would you change? What are some cards you have yet to see? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and all the YouTube things. I'll see you on the next one.